Previously on Dragon Ball Shinken, old Goku and God Vegeta's grueling battle against the gods of destruction continue. Little by little, the Saiyans are achieving victory, but the more time passes, the more injured and tired they are becoming. Will Goku and Vegeta be able to resist until the end? And who will be able to finish the fight first to face Cumber? Find out now. The battle twist. Who has the advantage now? Finding a way to get to Belmod, Goku approaches him to transport them both away from Rumshi and deal with him more easily. "Now I'm gonna take you away from here," he says to the god of Universe 11 with a smile on his face. But to Goku's surprise, the one who turns to him smiling is Belmod, who makes a strange card appear in his hand. And from that card comes a ray of light that surrounds the two and makes them simply disappear from there. Goku reappears in a completely different reality, a blank space filled with floating mirrors. What is this? And where's Belmod? He wonders. But the answer to his last question comes soon after, when Belmod comes out of one of the mirrors behind Goku and attacks his back and chest. But Goku smiles. "Got you," he tells the clown. The Goku that Belmod hit is actually a mirage, and the original appears behind him with an attack already prepared. Kamehameha, the Saiyan screams, while Belmod is simply disintegrated by his attack. "It's done," he shouts, very excited. But suddenly he's surprised when Belmod comes out from another mirror on his side and punches him squarely in the face. "What is this? Was that an illusion?" Goku asks, frustrated. Belmod continues to attack, launching a series of attacks that Goku dodges a little clumsily due to surprise. But in a short time he regains his focus and begins to dodge and defend with more precision, until he finally manages to counterattack with a blow that knocks Belmod away. But when he chases the clown god to continue attacking, Belmod escapes by entering one of the mirrors. "You won't run away from me," Goku screams, firing an energy attack that destroys the mirror. But this was useless, as in the next second Belmod comes out of a mirror behind him, already attacking with a kick. Goku reacts well, turning to defend, but Belmod simply passes through him. It was a mirage. The real one appears from another mirror that is below Goku and comes up with a punch that hits him right in the chin. Goku tries to counterattack, but he escapes again by entering another mirror, and almost instantly appears in another one that is behind Goku, attacking with a punch, which Goku manages to dodge by moving to the side. But again he is surprised when the real Belmod appears from another mirror above, coming down on him with a kick to the head. Then he retreats again to another mirror, and Goku sees the image of Belmod appear in all the mirrors around. "Damn, there's no way to know which one is real," he complains. Goku has an idea, and by accumulating a large amount of energy, he simply unleashes his energy, shattering all the mirrors around him. But a second later, all the mirrors are restored already, to his anger and frustration. The one who is also very afraid and frustrated is Vegeta, who thought he had defeated Mule, and also that he was about to defeat Beerus, Champa, and Iwan all at once. But he was surprised when Mule returned with a new armor. "Damn it, you bastard insect!" Vegeta curses the god of destruction of Universe 3. Zeno is very surprised when he sees this robot appearing in the fight and asks Daishinkan who is this guy. Daishinkan, already understanding what happened, tells Zeno that this guy who just appeared is Mule, the god of destruction of Universe 3 who used the robot called Moscow. He explains that after Vegeta exploded Moscow, Mule, who is a very small being the size of an insect, managed to survive the attack. And then he went to get his most powerful armor, which is the one they are seeing now. Zeno asks if the other robot was called Moscow. What is this one's name? Daishinkan says that this one is Super Mule, the one known as the Ultimate Machine, the most powerful technological warrior in the multiverse. Furious, Vegeta advances against the new robot that appeared before him, concentrating a huge amount of energy in his hand and hitting Super Mule with an absurdly strong punch, which, when it hits the robot, creates a gigantic explosion of impact around it. But Vegeta's punch only hit a metallic shield that Super Mule had just formed on his arm. And to Vegeta's surprise, the shield didn't even scratch. The counterattack comes, transforming his hand into a solid metal ball. Super Mule hits Vegeta squarely in the head, launching him an absurd distance, and making the Saiyan stop only when he collided with the moon very far from where he was, rubbing his sore head as blood starts to run down his face. Vegeta recognizes that the metal Super Mule is using his Kachi Kachin steel, the hardest matter in all the universes. But that wasn't all. He was strengthening the material even more with his ki. Another attack comes. Stretching out his mechanical arm, Super Mule throws the solid metal ball at Vegeta like a sledgehammer. Vegeta flies away and lets the attack hit the moon and simply shatter it. He retaliates with a beam of energy released from one of his hands, but this is defended when Super Mule once again again modifies his arm, forming a shield which reflects Vegeta's attack back at him, forcing the Saiyan to dodge to avoid to be hit by his own energy. "You annoying junk!" Vegeta screams full of rage. But it's not just the junk that he has to worry about, as a hail of energy shots launched by Champa fall on him, forcing him to dodge. And soon after, Beerus and Iwan attack, coming at him to start an exchange of blows. Surrounded by multiple Belmod mirrors that reflect the clown's god's image, Goku doesn't know which one the real attack will come from. Goku wishes he could just escape that dimension with a teleport, but for some reason, that dimension seems to be so peculiar that he can't feel anything outside of it to escape. So he has no choice but to play Belmod's game. In all the mirrors, Belmod forms his cutting energy cards, and they all launch them at once against Goku, who, not knowing which cards were real and which were illusions, needs to dodge them all. But then Goku gets an idea and starts releasing a large aura of energy. When the illusory cards touch his energy aura, they disappear. But when the real card touches it, it deforms the aura, and then Goku notices and avoids the card. "What do you think of that, huh?" he asked Belmod with a smart smile on his face. Seeing that this tactic would no longer work, the real Belmod finally comes out of the mirror and starts firing his real cards at Goku, who responds by throwing several Kienzans at him. As he dodges the energy cards, Goku manipulates the discs to hit Belmod, who also needs to dodge. But the problem is that Belmod doesn't have the same dodging precision as someone who has Ultra Instinct, and before long the discs start to cut him, while Goku continues to avoid the cards perfectly. In a few seconds, Belmod have to give up throwing cards and focus only on dodging the Kienzans. Goku surprises him using Kaioken, and unable to see, Belmod is torn to pieces by the multiple ki discs. However, he had switched places with an illusion. The real one appears behind Goku, attacking him with a kick, but it was a mirage too. The real Goku appears from behind a mirror, firing an energy attack at Belmod, who has to dodge it. At this point, using his magical powers, Daishinkan has already found the dimension to which Belmod took Goku, and he is showing this fight on the hologram for Zeno and the guards to see. Zeno is extremely confused by this fight, saying that he doesn't understand anything that's happening. Daishinkan reminds Zeno about what he had told him before, about Belmod being a big cheat and a smartass, and then he explains that to beat Belmod, Goku is trying to be as smart as him. This is a combat strategy, where one person is always trying to be one step ahead of the other. In this fight, the winner will not be whoever is the strongest, but whoever is the smartest. Vegeta fires a barrage of energy attacks at Beerus, who dodges everything as he flies towards him and attacks with a punch, while the Saiyan defends to respond with a kick that takes the Hakaishin away for a few meters and then launches a globe of energy, which is countered by Iwan, who gets in front of Beerus to free him from the attack and responds with a wave of power that Vegeta also counters, but is hit by an energy attack from Champa that explodes on his back. Vegeta turns to respond to Champa's attack, but he is interrupted when he sees Super Mule opening several holes in his robotic body and firing a series of energy missiles at him. Vegeta flies to escape, but is chased through space as if the missiles could track him. The speed of the projectiles is impressive, and not even flying at ultra-fast speed can Vegeta manage to distance himself from the attacks, which come at him trying to hit, but the Saiyan dodges by maneuvering in the vacuum while continuing to flee. Vegeta moves away with a teleport, thinking he has gotten rid of the missiles, but a few seconds later, he was found again. Damn, how did these things chase me this far? He questions himself, impressed and irritated. Vegeta has no other option than to keep running. An entire constellation is covered by the Saiyan. Then a solar system, a galaxy, and finally he's in another universe. It is only in the neighboring universe that Vegeta finally gets tired of running and fires an energy attack against one of the missiles. However, the destruction of one of the projectiles spreads and hits the others, and at that moment a chain effect begins, with explosions at cosmic levels spreading throughout the universe, destroying planets, asteroids, stars, solar systems, and even galaxies. In the end, the chain effect is so astronomically absurd that the entire universe is destroyed. At this moment, Universe 12 has just disappeared. Thanks to teleportation, Vegeta escaped that gigantic explosion, this time going to Universe 10. The destructive power of those missiles was absurd. If that had hit, not even I would come out unscathed, he thinks, relieved. Also very impressed by Super Mule's massive power is Zeno, who says that Super Mule's tricks are incredible and asks how Mule managed to create such a powerful machine. Daishinkan explains that the mule is a demon who was born with incredible intelligence, but he hated his insect appearance and thought he was ugly and weak because of his body. And so he used all his incredible intelligence to learn how to create extremely ingenious machines. And using his robot systems and expanding their power with his energy, Mule can give life to the most powerful machines in existence. In terms of physical power, Mule is the weakest among all the gods of destruction because of the fragile constitution of his body. But when he uses his power to increase the efficiency of his machines, which are very ingenious and well produced, he becomes extremely powerful. After hearing all this, Zeno says that this guy is really amazing, and this super battle machine thing is really cool. It's a shame he's being controlled by the villain. Even after having escaped to Universe 10 to avoid being hit by the explosion, Vegeta doesn't have much time to rest, as the Super Mule is coming towards him at an extremely incredible speed, to the point of almost distorting space-time as he flies. The reason for all this speed are the propellant jets he has on his armor's fleet, which are powered by his monstrous ki. Because of the incredible speed of the enemy's approach, Vegeta realizes that the impact force of a collision would be extremely high, even for him, and so he avoids the collision by dodging to the side and letting Super Mule pass straight through. But to his surprise, Mule quickly maneuvers in vacuum, and while making propellant jets appear on his back, he projects himself towards Vegeta with incredible power, which generates a speed that surprises even the great Saiyan Hakaishin, who is hit squarely by a punch from the robot god. Vegeta spins for several kilometers through space until he manages to stop, but Super Mule is already on top of him again, and before he can react, he is grabbed by the battle machine and carried by it, with both moving at extraordinary speed thanks to the robot's propellant jets. Along the way, they find a poor planet, which is simply crossed and torn apart by the impact with both of them. But Vegeta doesn't let himself be carried for long, and explodes his ki in a way that drives Super Mule away, and then launches a barrage of energy attacks against him, but which are defended by a force field released by the robot. Vegeta was about to fly to physically attack Super Mule, but Iwan appeared in front of him, and then Beerus and Champa appeared on the sides. "Damn, are you guys here too?" Vegeta complains, very angry and impatient. In the parallel dimension of mirrors, waves of vibrations shatter the many mirrors spread across the dimension. The generators of these vibrations are the collisions of Goku and Belmod's attacks, which launch very strong blows against each other, loaded with massive force. The Saiyan and the Hakaishin fight at full speed and power in an exchange of attacks endowed with great physical power, but also with a lot of care and strategy. At one point, Belmod lands a punch on Goku's face that has enough force to throw him away. But before Goku can move away, Belmod grabs his arm and pulls him back to land another punch. But Goku is smarter and takes advantage of the Clown God's pull as a propellant to headbutt him in the face. After this headbutt, Belmod is very stunned, and Goku takes advantage of this to attack with a punch. But the Destroyer reacts with speed, pointing his hand at Goku and trapping him in his energy prison. "Damn it!" Goku exclaims. Belmod creates several energy cards in his hands and launches them at Goku with the intention of piercing his body. But Goku thinks quickly and teleports, escaping the energy prison and going behind the Hakaishin. "Take that!" With a very strong punch, he goes through Belmod's back and chest. But it was a mirage. The real Belmod appears behind Goku with a kick to the back of the head. But it was a mirage too. Behind the clown, Goku reappears preparing an attack, but then Goku simply doesn't attack Belmod in front of him, but turns around firing an energy laser at the Belmod who appears behind his back, piercing the Hakaishin's body. "Now I got you!" But that was a mirage too. The real Belmod was the one in front of Goku before, who turns around with an extremely strong punch that goes through Goku's back and abdomen, who this time is not a clone. When we see this, Zeno goes into despair. "Oh no, he tricked Goku!" The Daishinkan just closes his eyes while saying, "Well, it seems that in this strategic fight, Belmod proved superior." But then Goku grabs Belmod's arm across his body while touching his hand to his own chest and says, "This time I'm sure you're real." For everyone's most complete shock, Goku simply pierces his own chest with a super concentrated energy laser, but the laser passes through him and hits Belmod in the head, instantly killing the Hakaishin. Zeno's mouth drops open when he sees this, but at the same time, as he's very surprised, he's also very excited. Daishinkan is also surprised, and understanding Goku's intention explains, "Now I understand. Mr. Goku let himself be deceived on purpose by Belmod, so that he could achieve an attack that he thought was definitive. When Belmod landed the attack, Mr. Goku was sure it wasn't a clone, and then he made his own definitive attack. But after explaining this to Zeno, Daishinkan says that Goku's situation is not good at all, as this injury will cost him dearly. Zeno says that Goku can use that ability to heal himself. The Grandmaster agrees, but says that this ability requires a considerable amount of energy. And after all these fights so far, Goku doesn't have much energy. From his castle, Cumber starts laughing at what happened to Belmod. He admits that not even he expected a strategy like that, and says that Goku is actually a very fun guy. However, he knows that this strategy was very risky and took a heavy toll on Goku. The hole in Goku's chest is closing, but he is very sweaty and panting, proving that Daishinkan and Cumber are right. After Belmod's death, the mirrors of the strange dimension begin to break, and the walls of the dimension themselves also break. Goku reappears in the vacuum of space where Rumshi is waiting for him. He stares at the elephant god with a very tense expression, while panting and sweat runs all over his face. Goku is very relieved that he only has one more opponent left, but at the same time, he's very tense because he knows that he is more limited than ever now. In space, Vegeta exchanges several blows against Super Mule, Iwan, Beerus, and Champa at the same time. At a complete disadvantage in this exchange against the four Hakaishins, Vegeta retreats, but Super Mule, transforming his two forearms into a kind of electric saw, stretches his arms towards Vegeta, attacking him with attacks that appear to be that of a cutting whip. Realizing that those saws had enough power to break his body, Vegeta was forced to dodge, making skillful maneuvers through space while barely avoiding Super Mule's attacks. But Vegeta's life becomes even more complicated when the other gods also begin to attack, firing energy attacks at him, and then he needs to deal with Super Mule's saws while dodging the other three's shots. In a moment, Vegeta manages to go from defensive to offensive when he leaves the middle of the attack zone with a teleport and appears behind Super Mule, who retracts his arms and, transforming them back to normal, defends a series of Vegeta's attacks. But amidst the physical attacks, Vegeta suddenly fires a point-blank energy attack that knocks Super Mule away. After pushing the robot away, breaking its defense with his energy attack, Vegeta flies towards him to continue his attacks, but Super Mule immediately responds as he is pushed away, causing his two hands to detach from his body and go in Vegeta's direction, powered by jets on his wrists. Vegeta, who wasn't expecting this, receives two punches at the same time to his chest, being stopped and retreated by Mule's hands, which, as if they had a life of their own, begin to fly around Vegeta while launching a sequence of attacks at him. Taking advantage of this, Champa and Beerus, positioning themselves on Vegeta's sides but keeping their distance, create two energy globes and launch them. As Super Mule's hands retreat to avoid being hit, the two power attacks meet as they collide with Vegeta, creating a gigantic explosion in that region of space. At that moment, Vegeta managed to defend himself from the explosion by creating an energy shield around him at the moment when Super Mule's hands moved away. But the power of Beerus and Champa's combined attack was so high that Vegeta's shield was completely cracked. And taking advantage of the fragility of the shield, Iwan approached with a flying attack that broke the shield and hit the Saiyan in the middle of the chest. Very angry, Vegeta was about to retaliate against this attack, but Super Mule approached him from behind and hit Vegeta with a paralyzing ray. "Damn it!" he screams. Taking advantage of Vegeta's paralysis, Iwan prepares a super powerful energy attack and launches it at him. But at the last moment, Vegeta manages to disperse Super Mule's energy with his power and dodges it. Super Mule, who was behind Vegeta, ends up being hit by Iwan's attack, which explodes right into his body. Taking advantage of this gap, Vegeta advances against Super Mule with a sequence of punches full of power and fury, making the machine's metallic armor resonate with the monstrous impacts of the blows. Holding Super Mule by the arm, Vegeta accumulates a massive amount of strength in one of his hands and hits the robot's chest, crushing it. After that, with the same hand that punched and still touches Super Mule's chest, Vegeta fires an energy laser that finishes piercing the machine and passes through his body. Iwan comes behind Vegeta's back ready to attack, but he launches Super Mule against the god of Universe 1, stopping his advance. Beerus and Champa move forward to try to stop Vegeta's sequence of attacks, but before they can do so, the Saiyan fires a Big Bang attack, loaded with extraordinary power that hits Super Mule right in the hole in his chest and explodes inside him, completely destroying Super Mule from the inside out, while also hitting Iwan with an explosion of astronomical levels that simply explodes that entire galaxy. At the end of that cataclysmic event of astronomical proportions, all that remains of what once was the northern galaxy of Universe 10 is just a blank space. In this space are Vegeta, Beerus, and Champa. Super Mule was completely destroyed, and this time Vegeta is sure about Mule's death, unlike Moscow's explosion. But the one who also disappeared was Ivan, which makes Vegeta deduce that he also died, which was expected after receiving such a powerful attack at such close range. Beerus and Champa look at Vegeta very seriously. The Saiyan, despite being breathless from having released so much power in that last attack, smiles and says, "Looks like there's only the two of you left, right? I think it's normal for you to be more tense. Come on, release all the power you have. At this moment, there's no point in you saving power anymore." As if they understood him, Beerus and Champa do as he says, starting to release a huge amount of energy, achieving a new transformation that just by looking at Vegeta, recognizes as being extremely powerful. Vegeta closes his eyes to focus on where Goku is, and through the sensation of ki, he analyzes his situation. Now Kakarot only has one opponent left, which means he has an advantage over me in numbers. But Kakarot's ki is much lower than normal, which means this fight won't be as quick. If I deal with Beerus and Champa quickly, I have a chance to win this contest. Even seeing the most powerful forms of the two gods of destruction in front of him, Vegeta smiles as he takes his combat stance and says, "Let's get this over with. Bring it on." In Universe 8, Goku faces Rumshi. He is now completely healed from the injury caused by the Belmod. However, he's very exhausted. Sensing what is happening to Vegeta, Goku realizes that Iwan and Mule's energy has just disappeared. So he mentally comments on the situation. It looks like Vegeta managed to make a very good turn in the fight and finished off two of them at once. He still has two opponents to face, and one of them is Lord Beerus. But he's still in a better situation than me, since I'm much more tired. Man, I think that until recently I had a huge advantage in the dispute. This way I'll lose, and I won't be able to fight Cumber. But despite the difficult situation, Goku smiles at his opponent and says, while taking his combat stance, "Let's go. Let's get this over with, because I have a bet to win." The battle between Goku and Vegeta against the gods of destruction continues at maximum intensity, but now these fights are finally close to an end. Vegeta still has two opponents to face while Goku only has one more. But on the other hand, Vegeta still has more energy while Goku is much more exhausted. Who will defeat all opponents first to face Cumber? And will they really be able to win? Find out in the next episodes of Dragon Ball Shinken.